Oh man, Juan, Denmark.
Jamoudi.
How you doing?
Jamoudi Rodriguez. Open mic warlord.
How you doing?
How are you doing, bro?
I'm fucking fantastic. I'm jealous of you. You gotta wait for a little bit. You got to get out of this little crazy town we live in.
Why do you call it crazy for?
You know, I think it's something to do with either the water or the weather. Something.
You think those things are affecting the way people act?
Yeah, if you're vitamin D deficient, you're gonna be a little affected.
So how do you see that? How does that translate to the actions that you see that make you call the city crazy?
You know, we just don't use our blinkers when we merge.
Real shit.
On the traffic.
Are you originally from here?
No, I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Why the fuck did you leave Milwaukee, Wisconsin to come to Portland, Oregon?
I wasn't gonna start comedy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That sounds like a great place to start comedy. You don't look like anybody that I think of from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
This is also true, but
could have been the fucking.
I mean, I am definitely gonna be the funniest person coming out of Wisconsin. I'm claiming that.
Hey, real shit.
Right
okay.
there.
Okay. Are you gonna come back and do some guest spots? Show them what Portland's turned you into.
Eventually, once those opportunities come, I'm not really looking for it right now. But once those opportunities come, definitely.
Okay.
Wouldn't say no to performing in my hometown.
Okay.
Wouldn't decline that opportunity. But yeah, I almost feel like I'm cheating right now. Rainier is owned by Pabst, which is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But this is
you're drinking the Little Sister brand right now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The number 3 lager on the market right now.
Damn. Apparently, you're the number 1 open micer. So much so that you call yourself the open mic warlord.
I am self-proclaimed, and no one has called me out on that yet besides you. And I'm happy somebody has fun. That's like when Paul George gave himself that nickname, Playoff P, and then bombed. Like that's. So I've been waiting for me to start fucking horribly bombing.
What made you call yourself the open mic warlord? And how many open mics do you have to go to just claim that name?
You gotta be. So other comics have to come up to you. It's not even. So other comics do have to come up to you and be like, every time I do comedy, I see you doing comedy.
Okay. So respect from the peers.
Yeah, if you get respect from the peers like that, if other people be like, dude, every time I choose to go do comedy, I see you do comedy, because that means let's say they do comedy 5 times a week and you do comedy 10 times a week.
Yeah.
They literally see you all 5 of those times.
Exactly.
And they don't even know how many other times you're doing comedy.
If you could guess how many times a week you do comedy, how many times would you say?
I average between 8 and 11. I hit 4 on Sunday every day, every time.
Okay, so this is my thing with comedy. Do you feel like doing a lot of mics is going to make you better? Or do you think you need to mix in live, lived experiences in order to shape your comedic persona?
There's a balance. There's a moderation to everything. Drinking is too bad. Doing too much comedy is too bad.
Right. Do you drink or smoke before you get on stage regularly?
I'm a stoner by habit. That's just how I am. So weed doesn't affect me how it's going to affect somebody else. Like they're going to actually be slower, and like I definitely, it counteracts my ADHD, if you want to say that.
Okay.
But drinking will definitely affect me. I saw when I first started doing comedy, few months in, a comic sent me a short clip of me at Midnight Mic, and I was faded.
Wait, he showed you a clip of you?
Yeah.
Oh,
he sent me it. He sent me it.
He said, yo, look at yourself.
No, for real. Shout out Ikes for doing this.
Oh, Ikes, that's my nigga, man. Shout out Ikes, bro. Ikes is a real one.
No, shout out Ikes for doing this, because at that moment, that was a pivotal moment. That was almost a canon moment, because right when I saw that, I was like, I never want to see that again.
So what was it that you saw that you didn't like in that video?
Right here? Like, so here's the 2 differences of drinking and being stoned and doing comedy. Being stoned and doing comedy, you'll forget your lines. But that's okay, because if you're a good riffer, you'll make do. You'll create something funny with what you have right there.
Yeah.
But being drunk and doing comedy, you don't forget your lines. You say every single line, but it's slurred.
Oh, wow.
And the punches aren't just as sharp. It's not as clean.
Okay.
It's just not... It's not what you want. It's not what you want as a professional doing comedy. If you want to make some money doing comedy, if you're a drinker, everyone's different. Ron White was a drinker he even quit drinking though. So everyone's different, but I know me personally, I can be stoned doing an open mic, but
which one are you funnier, stoned or drunk? Like which one is like, okay, if I have to choose which one to do, which one are you gonna give the best show?
I'd probably be stoned because it's just more habitual.
See, if I'm stoned, You might get a cooler show. You might get a more organic, original show. But if I'm drunk, I'm gonna give you the crazy. You're gonna have. You might not even remember what I said, but you're gonna laugh because what I gave to you was like unfiltered, funny, like just straight cut funny.
To go back on like remembering what you're not gonna remember what you said. I feel like because me and you kind of do comedy the same way. You kind of like black out on stage because like you're riffing. So like you're really not knowing. You're like kind of there, but not really there. And just like by the end of the set, you really, if you didn't record it, you couldn't reenact.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. You couldn't reenact that if you wanted to, unless you truly remembered that pivotal joke in that set.
I know.
But yeah, that's
the tough part. That's the part where if you want to make the money, you have to be able to create that moment without a shadow of a doubt every night, and that's the hard part. That's what I recognized about you and respected about you when I first saw you. We were at Friday mic at Turn, and I think I was either hosting or there or something, and I saw you riff like for 7 minutes, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Eventually I ran out of material. We got the same type of material, the vibe, you know? So I was like, yo, I pulled up to you, I was like, bro, whatever you're doing, I fuck with you.
That was real.
Ever since then, we've been cool. So
yeah. No, that was real for sure.
So what made you get into this shit?
I opened the back door.
I mean, off top, my initial thought when you asked that initial question, I could just envision myself in my dad's fucking townhouse in the upstairs bedroom watching Kings of Comedy. I'm probably like 11.
Oh shit.
Like probably maybe younger than that. I'm watching Kings of Comedy, so Steve Harvey, D.L. Hewley, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer.
The GOATs.
Fucking great comedians. It's great, but I'm just like, I could do this. Like at that time, at this time, I was like one of those types that I'm getting a haircut every week or every 2 weeks. So I'm always in a black barbershop, just always doing the banter thing. Always with the always in the black barbershop talking. It's amazing. So like I just saw that. I was like, oh, I can transfer that to stage, no problem. Like so that's why I like when people say when you go on stage, there's no change of personality.
Yeah.
It's just the same. And I think that's just from growing up, just my surroundings. And then eventually I'm like, that's something I could genuinely do. And then my eighth grade came, and I was in a CAP conference with my guidance counselor and my mom. And they're like going to talk about what I'm doing after high school, what I'm going to be pursuing. And I literally looked at them blank face, like dead serious. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I want to be a stand-up comedian.
Holy shit.
Blank, like, and the room was silent for 5 seconds. Like, genuine silence, just like, he said that. Like, and then after that, you could tell the seriousness of that interview or conversation didn't really matter because I genuinely, those words seemed so certain. Like I genuinely knew whatever I was gonna do.
So you set yourself up in that moment, you spoke it, and that was when you kind of put your shoes on your feet and you're like, okay, I was kind of playing around with it, but now I'm stepping off into it. I'm making public statements saying this is what I want to do for a career.
Yeah, and I would say that, and I was saying this, and I didn't do one set of comedy until I turned 19. Okay. And I only did one set in Salem, and I literally bombed. I did a 5-minute set.
Where?
I don't remember. I could look it up because I took a picture and I put the location on the archive in my Instagram.
Yeah.
But it was a 5-minute set. I bombed, and there was a known comic in that. It was a known comic in that room too, because he went up and made I didn't even make the 5, and that was like when I was 19. So I didn't actually start doing comedy until I turned 22.
Okay.
So
did that moment kind of shy you away from the stage a little bit? You were like, "Fuck, this shit real." Like, let me regather and regroup.
No, there was not that moment at all. It was actually even worse, where you get it now, where you're doing open mics, and if you bomb afterwards, you just think about it until the next time you do comedy.
Yeah.
So I thought about it for 4 years. For 4 years, I thought about that one set.
Bomb, 4 years.
4 years.
Hell yeah.
I just didn't. I was like. Right now I still get cringe from it. I'm like,
I feel it, dude. I feel your energy, dog. You're like pulling away from that bomb still. That shit eating at your soul.
It does eat at me. So I be thinking about that. So like for 4 years until I did comedy again, I was like, man, I gotta do it again. Like I have to. I'm also one of those people like, if somebody's scared or like somebody doesn't want to do it, I have to do it now.
Yeah.
I have to go see it.
Yeah, same.
So like those 4 years, people are like, you do comedy, you go on stage and talk in front of people, and they're like, that's crazy, I wouldn't do that. So like now I'm just like, I have to do it. Like I went to Alaska 2 summers ago, and people before I went there were like, "That's crazy. I would never do a job like that." And I was like, for that reason, I have to go find out why you wouldn't. And that just gives you the most clarity in life, I feel like.
Are you addicted to the adrenaline of comedy? Are you actually addicted to the crafting of comedy, of creating the moment, of preparing, of getting on stage, of exciting the people? Are you more connected to the feeling, the rush?
So,
because it sounds like you're more. It's like the daredevil thing.
Yeah.
Is that where you're more leaning?
I truly love comedy. So right now, if I could. I feel like if you're more so for the rush of it, then that's where your ego is involved, and that's where you care about being booked because you want to feed your ego.
Okay.
So, but if you care about the love of the comedy,
right,
your ego is not involved, and you're truly just being, maybe not more daredevilish, but just being more true and authentic, and just really just trying to see what road you're gonna go down.
Right.
Like, you don't really care what happens.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, I started off like that, like where it was just, I want to try this out, I want to do it, I want to experience what it's like to do this. And then I realized that everything has politics to it. And so as I'm doing comedy, now I'm thinking about how other people are perceiving my comedy, how they're gonna perceive me as a person.
Yeah.
And now I'm like subconsciously changing up shit, or maybe not saying a joke all the way through because I'm thinking about what another person's gonna say, and that's the kind of stuff gets in between my head. So how does it affect you, like being in a place where people are more judgmental of the words that you say?
I think me and you had this conversation pretty early on when we met, actually. And like, honestly, it's a conversation I think about all the time.
Yeah.
Like when I'm having those kind of questions where I'm having like, how are they gonna perceive me, or how am I gonna be thought of these jokes, how am I going to be received in this room, it would be, so I think about it like, if you're going in it with the intent to entertain and with the intent to be undeniably funny, that intent alone is gonna, like, that's no hate. There's no hate in your heart if you're just going with the true intent to entertain that entire crowd and just be undeniably funny, because that's just pure and genuine. But when people go into a room trying to push their own agenda, you could say, then that's when you could feel if it's good or bad intent. That's when the words get a little more, that's when the gray area, that's when you start dancing the gray area more.
Okay. So you're doing comedy. How's it been going so far? How long have you been at this shit? You said you started at 19, but you really started at 22.
Yeah, really.
So how long have you been being the open mic warlord?
So I started in 2022. April 14th.
Okay, so you're coming.
I'm a year
So
past.
you're a year in. Okay, that's what's up.
I'm a year and some change.
Congratulations on that year. The
Heck
year
yeah.
is not easy to do anything straight. So
Yeah, I'm also one of those like addicted to the grind kind of people.
Right.
So like I go to the gym every day.
Same.
I go play pool every day. There's just habits I have, and it almost like turns into a habit where like I wake up one day and I don't think about comedy when I wake up in the morning. I genuinely don't. I just find my body just being pulled eventually toward the end of the day when comedy starts. I'm just like, well, it's either this or I'm going to go sit in my room and do nothing, or I'm going to go do some drugs and hang out with people I probably shouldn't hang out with.
Right.
So it's just like, I'd rather just hang out with like-minded individuals than just do anything else. Like I already did the gym, I already worked, I already played pool. I'm one of those people that wake up in the morning, put my shoes on, and just go hit the door. And comedy is another activity that makes me stay out
of the nonsense,
of my room, of the apartment, of just
the depression, whatever comes with being alone. How can you even be alone in a space for a long period of time?
Oh no, I could be alone. I definitely, in the morning I sit alone. I wake up, and for at least 15 minutes I'm sitting there. I don't touch my phone. I sit there alone and just think about what I'm going to do throughout the day.
They say comedy comes from like a dark place. Do you have that type of energy that motivated you into comedy? Like, did you deal with issues growing up that left you kind of in a place where you needed to express yourself in a funny way?
I think, yeah. I mean, every comic has rooted those issues. I think all of us have always, probably every single one of the comics in the scene right now is probably a class clown at one point, and they're just doing that for some form of validation. But at this point, no, I'm really not. I feel like a comic that handles their mental health is going to be funnier than the comic that doesn't.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Robin Williams was hilarious.
But what I mean by that, too, is just longevity, and also the business side and being the offstage presence, or you want to work with this person, like
Right.
they could bring you 30 minutes, no problem, but you genuinely want to give them your money. You
Yeah.
genuinely want to have them in your presence and be in the creation that you're with,
Right.
because they have no hindrance, they have no vices that are truly getting in the way of their craft. So like, yeah,
But people are attracted to that tragedy, though.
They are
like I
attracted
feel
to
like I feel like people who are living on that are teetering on that edge and they could fall off at any moment. People will rush to that shit because they just like they eat that up. They're like, this dude's fucked up. Like when he gets on stage and he just ripped for an hour because he's like going through some demented shit in his head. Like
Yeah.
we're getting the purest form of art. You know what I mean? Like some people really live to like go for that, which
And-
is kind of fucks with me a little bit.
and I completely like disagree with that whole
Nice.
sentiment.
Go
like,
for it.
I truly disagree with that whole sentiment because I truly agree. I truly think that it's just mental health that's convincing you that you need your vices to be funny.
Right.
You don't need those vices to be funny. You are naturally a funny person.
Right.
You just have some rooted traumas that you just haven't solved yet. And once you do, then even those hard traumas that are hard to talk about on stage, you'll be able to make even better jokes about those ones because you're actually able to process it. You're actually able to have clarity and just like not make a room uncomfortable. Like one line was funny, but the rest of that was kind of like damn, was that you all right? Like, that was good, but like you all right? Like you don't want so like I just like, and you gotta like we can just change it to a different career right now. We can change the bodybuilding and just compare it to Ronnie Coleman and how all that massive weight training,
This is a good mic.
all that massive,
I believe in this mic a lot, dude. I'm telling you.
all that massive weight training has affected his body now, and like his back is one big muscle piece.
Oh yeah, my dad loved Ronnie Coleman. He was a bodybuilder too. My dad was a bodybuilder, so I remember one day I was like 8 or 9. My dad was waking me up. He was like, "Yo, hey, you want to call me to the gym? I'm gonna go meet Ronnie Coleman."
Yeah.
And I'm a kid. I don't know
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
I don't care for him. I was like, I'm sleepy. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
And my dad got to meet him and everything. I was one of his people. So yeah, to see Ronnie Coleman then
And now?
is like, whoa. Like I saw the documentary and it's crazy.
So you saw how great he was. So I feel like you look at these greats, you take what they did really well, but you also take what they did really bad and do opposite of that.
Right.
So then maybe you have a chance of being that great, maybe even better.
Longer. Because no one can deny that Ronnie Coleman was the man. Like
No.
he's a bodybuilder. He shouldn't be a household name. There's not that many household name bodybuilders that exist. There's like 3.
3.
It's like 3.
3 off the top I can name.
Exactly, like 3. And so, but it also took that. You know what I mean? Like there's the Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Yeah.
Who did it kind of more healthy and lasted the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And that's a way. And then there's the Ronnie Coleman way. Like you're gonna get the fame. It's just you got to understand the price that you're paying when you put your feet in those shoes, right? So, given your delivery, like your things that you like to talk about, like do you feel that there's a price that you pay for the material that you choose to speak about?
No, honestly, because I choose to be undeniably funny. I'm not going up there pushing any agenda. I
Nice.
truly go up there and I'm trying to make this room laugh on whatever is happening in this room.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you ruffle feathers?
I definitely ruffle feathers.
Okay. What makes you feel? Why do you ruffle feathers for? And why do you think that you ruffle feathers?
Probably my confidence. Just my confidence alone.
You
Like,
think confidence makes people really just like come at you in a weird way?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm probably not as humble as I could be.
Yeah, but that's the point of being in an entertainment business. So like, what is it like when you really sit down and think about it? Like, what is it that's really like making like? Do you feel that is making people like feel any certain type of way towards you?
Well, if we're talking about my offstage presence or my onstage presence, my offstage presence is very truthful.
Okay.
Like I just call it how it is and not how it ain't.
Right.
It is always like that, and I am convinced. I've convinced myself that I will be okay with being a comedian's favorite comedian. Like I am.
That's one of my best compliments I ever received.
I'm okay with being that. Like I'm okay with like, but I'm okay with taking bullets. Like I'm okay for if I'm calling something out, I might close some opportunities out, but I have an abundance mindset and a culture I want to create in comedy within myself as a true leader. Like years on, there's a culture I want to like hold and just of honesty and just integrity, just good business, like
and having good people around you, establishing a good foundation. So when you're
safe spaces.
Yeah, when you get to a point, you don't have to question the people that are holding you up because you know what their moral code is, what their moral compass is, versus placating to everybody. And then when you're up here, you're scared that at any moment someone could just get tired of holding you and just fucking drop you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I respect it. That's how I live my life.
And also I just like on stage, I feel like comics like treat audience members like they're toddlers.
Yeah.
They can smell the truth or not. Like they can tell if you're being authentic or not. So like I just try to be as truthful as possible while entertaining. Like those are my two key components on stage and off stage, is being true, chill, just like being just normal, like not trying to be too rowdy or anything, just being like just true, just like not compromising my morals, like not compromising for a little paycheck. Yeah. Like I do comedy because I truly like doing comedy. So like no little small number is gonna make me change the way I do comedy for some money.
Exactly.
Because like money comes and goes. I can go work a seasonal job. I can go do so many other things for money. Like comedy is for my creative passion. I truly love doing this. So there's no point for me to do it in an ill way to get higher in the standards. Like I feel like that's where ego comes involved. Like,
but the ego, we're living in ego. You're already in your egoic state when you decide to put your name on a piece of paper and get on stage and tell people what you think. Like no one asked you for your opinion. So when you go out of your way to choose to tell people your opinion when no one asked for it, don't you think you're already starting from an egoic place? So now you're kind of learning how to tame it. In my opinion.
Yeah, but my counterpoint to that would be immediately like no one asked you to be a plumber, but we still need plumbers.
True.
No one asked you to be a barbershop.
But the shit is piling up. So do you feel like the shit's piling up and the world needs Jamaudi's viewpoint to clear this shit out?
That is the question, isn't it? That is.
Fuck yeah, that's the question.
Like I think everybody has.
Which goes back to ego, because that first plumber definitely was full of ego. He was like, "Why the fuck is all this shit here? I can clean this shit up."
Yeah.
So come on now.
Well, it's more so like. How do I say this? I'm not pushing an agenda. There's not.
I mean, but you have something in you that you want to express to the world.
I'm just having fun though. Like,
right. But you want to show the world that you're having fun. You want to show the world that they can have fun with their own personal situation. Like, what is it about having fun that you want to relay to the world?
I guess when I think about it, like when I go sign up my name on that piece of paper, it's not really ego. It's more so a pay it forward mindset. Like I'm gonna go up there and we're gonna forget about life for a second.
Okay.
Like we're just gonna forget about life for a second. I'm just gonna talk about a timeline that doesn't really matter. That doesn't it's gonna just be wild. You haven't heard it before. It's gonna distract you for 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever. You know, like it's just it's gonna be a moment. We're gonna create that moment, and then you're gonna go back to we're all gonna go back to our mundane lives.
Exactly.
But that little moment is gonna give us like energy. Like that was fun. Like that was cool. I'm like, and they'll think about that. Like, I want somebody I just want to leave somebody with a joke that they just are smiling. Like that was fun time. Like I had a lot of good time. They just talk about it amongst themselves. I truly don't care about what I say. It's just making everyone laugh. It's not even. I truly get happy. I start having fun when I'm like making you laugh. Like that's because I'm paying it forward. Because I know in a way that's making you feel good. And I don't know your background right now, but right now you feel good. Yeah. Like and that's where it goes again. Where ego. You care about being booked. Why? There's probably a drunk audience member at an open mic that needs to be just as entertained.
Oh, for sure.
As a person that is paying at a show. So,
I've been tipped more money at an open mic from a fan than I have gotten at a show before. Like I've gotten more money from a fan just walking up like, "Yo, you're funny as shit. Don't quit."
Yeah.
Here goes some money.
You want a drink?
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, literally.
This is awesome, you know? And so what are those moments? Do you have any moments where you're like, where you thought about like, damn, this comedy shit's kind of, it's a lot. And then someone just kind of gave you a moment where it just gave you life again, you know?
Well, I'm a big balance guy, so I don't think comedy's ever gonna be a lot for me because when I wake up, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go probably fail squatting 200 pounds, and failing alone, like I'm gonna rep it twice and then probably fail that third time.
Nice.
And that failure alone, like I did it, but I failed. So like that alone is gonna get me ready for my next task because what is that? You're gonna do it sometimes, but you are gonna fail.
Exactly.
Like that's so then I'm gonna go play pool for probably like 2 hours. I'll probably play 20 games of pool, and I'm probably gonna lose some matches. And I'm probably gonna win some matches. But we're gonna play a lot of pool right now, so it doesn't matter. So then by the time I go do comedy, by the end of the day, I've taken so many wins, I've taken so many losses that when I go do 3 open mics, if I win one of them, if somebody comes up after me and at a mic that I thought I bombed at, somebody comes up to me and is like, that was funny, bro. And I was like, bro, I was riffing. They're like, nah, that was great. Like that was crazy. Like what more do I need out of that? That's so much joy alone right there on top of working my BS good job, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't. It's all about living a fulfilled life. On top of going on adventures, not making sure you have time for experiences.
Self-care.
Everything.
Taking care of self, getting your mind right. So when you're on stage, it's just freedom thought.
So you can get in that flow state. So you can just be in that present moment, not thinking about, yeah, I'm gonna do comedy right now, but damn, I don't got nothing to eat afterward. Like not like I'm already like I'm handling my life. I'm handling my life. So like when I get up here, I'm not thinking about none of that life shit. I'm with y'all. We about to have fun right now. Like that's my whole goal when I do comedy. I don't care about nothing else, and I think that's why people have a problem with me, because I don't care, because I know I'm true. Like I know I could do this for the next 20 years as a hobby, like genuine hobby, and not care if it goes anywhere because it's fun. As long as you're having fun, as long as you're doing other things, and that's probably why as well that this is the only thing they do. This is their thing. Like this is their niche. They're a niche person, and they need to do comedy. All the people they really know is from comedy, so their ego gets involved. So
everybody they date is a comedian.
Everybody they talk to.
I asked my last interviewee this question. I'll ask you for fun.
Yeah.
Would you ever date a comedian?
Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
Why?
It's it would have to be a perfect scenario. I can't say probably not, but like it'd have to be perfect scenario, genuinely. Like genuinely perfect scenario. I'm a comic that doesn't use, like, I'm not gonna hide behind my mental health. So if I found another comic I liked that didn't hide behind their mental health, handled their shit, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, healthy living comic for sure.
I'd be more entertaining, more willing, but on top of but really, I want to go do my own thing by myself. You know what I'm saying? I want my partner to have their own life, to have their own thing. You know what I'm saying? I do comedy. Maybe they like painting themselves up and doing clown shit, and like that's what they're in the drag scene, in the fucking scene. Like they just do different. Like I don't. Like they just do something else. So.
I like contrast. I don't need us to have. I don't want to go and then we're signing up at the same open mic.
Nah.
We both bombed. We both eat this mediocre ass meal when we get shit weak.
Pity sex.
That's weak.
It's not. I don't think that's it for me.
It's not it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's talk about love, man. People love you as well.
Yeah.
So name some people in the comedy scene that have really shown you some real true love.
I mean, you're wearing their shirt right now. Shout out Dirty Angel. Shout out
Dirty Angel. Man.
Dirty Angel, Hijinks, DJ Wildchild. They both. We've been booked the first time by both Dirty Angel, huh?
Yep. The money that's hanging up on my wall, my first ever comedy money. Dirty Angel Entertainment. I can't front on it. It's in a frame.
Yeah.
It's in a frame. Bro.
I got a bank account that I don't touch. I got comedy money. Dirty Angel has funded that multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm saying. So talk about your first experience with them and like how your relationship has grown throughout your time doing comedy.
Honestly, I'm gonna be super open right now because I know they're gonna like this. Like they love our dynamic. They love our dynamics. So I started doing comedy. And then I decided to say a covenant word in Portland. And Hijinks and Wildchild did not like this. And Hijinks gave me a new asshole. after that set. Gave me a new asshole. Just truly, just like, he got taller when he got angry too. You know what I'm saying? He's already